Massive wildfires are ripping across thousands of acres tonight, and they are threatening a growing number of homes. Jeff Van Sant joins us live from the Meadow Valley. Jeff, we have been watching you get ready for this live shot for the last little while. I'm amazed you can even breathe out there. We're going to let you get to it.
Yeah, guys, it's just absolutely surreal out here. I'm getting so much ash in my eyes. It's indescribable. I have never experienced anything like this. You could take a look behind me. Look at that wall of flames. Now, that just comes and goes throughout the day because there's so much smoke, and these gusting winds are pushing this thing further and further, and this thing just seems to be completely out of control. And this is a very dangerous situation in this area, and many have had to been forced out of their homes. Everywhere you look, fire. Running down hillsides, gusting winds pushing the flames towards homes and forcing many to flee.
You're just looking at a fire that just came down over the hill, and it's probably going to wipe out all these houses right here.
Lynn Anders is helping her sister-in-law get out of this ranch that sits in the path of the fire. They're leaving the horses and farm animals behind. They have no time to gather them up. The entire area is in the path of this blaze, including her home.
Mine is right up there, and it's under attack too, so I had to leave. I'm just trying to get these kids out of here.
It was like a mass exodus down here.
Tim Germain packed up his family, leaving a home that might not be there tomorrow.
We got all the family and the dogs out, and a house can be replaced.
The flames sit right on the edge of his property.
It's really something. It's even last night. I mean, it's way worse now, but last night it really looked like the cauldron of hell. You can see flames everywhere you looked.
Tim's home sits in the Meadow Valley, an area surrounded by this blaze, heavy smoke, wind, and ash.
It's terrible. It hurts the eyes and it hurts the throat, and we have an orange sun again. It's terrible. It's kind of scary.
Charlene Montour moved to this area just last month. Her home isn't threatened and prays crews can get a handle on this blaze.
So all we can do is just hope for the best, and they haven't said to evacuate or anything. So we're just sitting here until we need to go.
For Tim, he's worried this early start to the fire season could spell disaster.
With this kind of heat and wind, it looks like Eastern Washington's going to burn to the ground.
All right, you get another live look inside the Meadow Valley, and what you're seeing right now is flames right next to a home. These fire crews have been so hard at work throughout this entire day, and the scenes that we've been seeing have been just incredible. And now we're going to push along that ridge line. We have seen so many flare-ups going up that ridge line. It keeps just pushing to the side there, and again, with these gusting winds and very hot temperatures, this thing is just going to continue to take off. But as I said, these crews have been all over this area trying to get a handle on this blaze, and it's not looking good weather-wise. We're going to see temperatures hovering up in the upper 90s tomorrow, and possibly gusting winds up to about 20 miles per hour. So you can imagine how much growth we might possibly see tomorrow. Guys, back to you.
Got to get you some goggles there, Jeff. Wow.
The destruction here in North Cove is indescribable. I watched today as the soil continued to erode as the waves were coming in, pounding against the coastline, and I watched as some of these homes went into the water. It's a race against time and Mother Nature. Friends and strangers who wanted to help are scrambling to get everything out of this North Cove home. It's in danger of going over the edge.
My neighbor needs help. That's the thing that made me feel the best to come over.
Risha Saber lost her home yesterday as the cliff gave way. Today, she's helping a neighbor prepare for the same fate.
Not really overwhelmed. It's like when something happens and you know it's going to happen, like a death, and you're just there with it. That's it. I'm trying to be right here with it.
This home isn't right at the edge yet, but it's close. An elderly couple lives here, and now they're emptying their home, taking away everything of value.
It's very sad. It's very personal. These people have built lives out here. And this one set of the family where we got the dog from is like 80 years old, and they have nowhere to go.
Deborah Thompson Blake rescued the couple's dog. She can't believe the destruction in this area.
It was just heart-wrenching to see the house with a garden and deck, and they had dinner on the deck the night before, and then the house just went. it's devastating.
As the waves continue to pound the coast, the beach is changing shape. Homes have been falling into the water for weeks.
Now, other areas down here lost over 140 feet during the year, and without high tides or anything. So it's just amazing how this all works. I don't quite understand it myself.
Craig Pagel lost his cabin 3 weeks ago. Now he's watching his neighbors lose everything too.
Oh, it's sad because so many people had a lot of hopes and dreams down here.
Sadly, as the tide comes in, the coastline will continue to erode, and this could spell disaster for other homes in the coming days. Now, as these waves continue to pound away against the coastline, there's no telling how much more soil is going to be eroding away, especially over the next couple of days. In North Cove, Jeff Van Sant, Q13, Fox News. In the moon dust-filled landscape of southern Afghanistan, the 22nd Engineer Clearance Company searches for a dangerous and elusive enemy, improvised explosive devices, or IEDs.
And there's two ways to find the bomb. It finds you or you find it.
Their mission, clearing out explosives planted by the Taliban
370, copy.
on vital supply routes.
I think you have to be a little bit crazy to do our job, period.
It's like a life or death game of chess.
You know, they throw this stuff in the route, we trying to find it, if we don't find it, so we get hit. So game over.
It is the most dangerous duty in Afghanistan. So far this year, 201 Americans have been killed by IEDs. That represents nearly 2/3 of all U.S. deaths this year.
You can get hit any time. You know, you can get ambushed on some of these routes. They're perfect setup for that, so it's kind of exciting too.
You have multiple attacks from small arms fire, RPGs, recoilless rifles, IEDs. You gotta be ready at any time. You gotta be vigilant.
The 22nd Engineers are based out of Joint Base Lewis McChord.
Fire in the hole!
Nearly all did some training at the massive 327,000-acre Yakima Training Center.
So if you see anything suspicious, call it out.
They're now putting their training to good use. These engineers have been in Afghanistan since July.
An old saying that is, you know, when we fight, you're in the enemy's backyard. Well, we are definitely here in Afghanistan in the enemy's kitchen.
Like many of these soldiers, this is my first time ever in combat. The stakes don't get higher than this.
If you don't find something and somebody else gets hit, you know, it'll take a toll on you, so yeah, it's a lot of pressure sometimes, so.
The engineers' vehicles are state-of-the-art MRAPs. Army speak for mine-resistant ambush protected.
Getting blown up is in the back of your mind, but it's what we do.
The MRAPs are designed to survive powerful IEDs. Some of these soldiers have experienced explosions firsthand.
Twice that happened, just look at my arms, I'm okay, look at my legs. But then the next day, it's my family. After you guys, after my soldiers, that's all I have.
Oh, are you right?
When you see a vehicle in front of you getting all blown up, you think that, you know, they're all dead. It's the first instinct when they don't talk, but in reality, everyone's just trying to get, you know, their ears, you know, kind of see, because it's so dusty. When the truck gets hit, there's so much dust inside, it's just everywhere. You kind of try to get a hold of, you know, get your bearings, you know, see what's going on, assess the situation.
36, roger, keep pushing.
It's a grueling job. Missions often begin before dawn and last until the next morning. Right now we're sitting on a combat outpost, and we're basically in the middle of, I guess, enemy territory. And we've been on the road, as I said, for about 13 hours. And basically we still got a lot more work to do. One of the roadways we need to get by, some IEDs have been reported, so we're gonna have to go check those out.
My brain's fried right now. It's at 17, 20, been up for 18 hours, something like that. All rugged, bird, got the crew in the back.
It's a treacherous and claustrophobic life. Most engineers never get out of their vehicles.
If you have to go to the bathroom, you're kind of out of luck. You got to pee in bottles. You're pretty much in everyone's personal space. I wouldn't even say you have personal space. You cramp up, your butt falls asleep. You get thrown around if you're in the gunner's hatch.
The creaking, the crackling, the suspension's rough, so it beats you all day. The seats are made for you to survive an explosion, so they're special, and they're not comfortable.
I'm not allowed to say exactly where we are, except that it's the birthplace of the Taliban. These men call it the Box of Death.
Just always, always stuff going on. There's just always getting shot at. There's always a bomb.
And an enemy that could be anywhere.
If you do engage, they'll engage you and then they'll run away.
I don't know. They don't wear a uniform. Probably those farmers they farm the land during the day. They probably be the same guy that plays an ID at night.
Hey, 3-1 Alpha Delta also.
It's a battle that never ends in a country where there is no place we can call safe.
And Jeff Van Sant joins us now. Jeff, I was just watching that. The images are just amazing. You were out there for 13 to 18 hours at a time. Mm-hmm. Talk about the toll, I guess, and the stress really from doing something like that.
It's unbelievable. I mean, you're in a vehicle, and these things are designed to take IED blasts. So, you're strapped in. It's a 5-point harness. So you're not moving. You're not moving around in that thing, because if you do hit something, you're going to get knocked around. You're going to get something broken. And it takes a huge toll on you. That particular mission where I said we've been out for 13 hours, we ended up for 23 hours.
Wow. I got to say, we were thrilled to see you come home safely. So many of these guys, they get injured, they don't come home at all. Talk about the people from our area that you met over there.
Well, a couple of the guys in there, Briscoe, he is actually from Seattle, and there was a couple of other guys there. One guy was from Whidbey Island, and so it was kind of neat to have a Seattle connection with those guys, especially, talking to some of them, because I grew up here.
Sure.
So, just kind of talking to them about everything. It was really cool.
What was your biggest surprise being over there? About life there. People back here don't know what's going
what
on,
an
right?
experience, truly.
It's the sights, it's the smells. I mean, you smell diesel, you smell waste, human waste. I mean, you smell, the smells are unbelievable. The sights, the sounds, you hear helicopters, diesel generators. Just all that is so overwhelming, because when I come back here, it's so quiet, and I'm like, it's almost unnerving, And I can't imagine what a lot of these guys deal with when they come back after a 12, 15-month deployment. And they even said that. They're saying that it's hard to readjust.
It really gives you an idea of what they go through each and every day. And you were there for how long?
I was there for 30 days. With those guys, I was with them on several missions.
Wow.
And,
that's a good point. What's coming up tomorrow?
Coming up tomorrow, we're going to actually see the guys find the IEDs. When I was with them, we found 2 IEDs. Wow. And actually, one of them, we actually rolled over it and didn't realize it was an IED. It didn't go off, thank God. But we ended up finding that. And then another one, you get just to see what exactly they do and how they deal with them, and just kind of the challenges they face.
And their families here are going to get to see exactly what they face too.
Yes, and I know they're a little bit worried about that, but they're a great bunch of guys. They know what they're doing, and they're highly trained.
And we thank them, and
we're
glad you're home safe.
Thank you.
All right, Jeff, we'll see you tomorrow.
In the skies over Washington, you get a bird's eye view of the beauty it offers, from thick forests to the rugged mountainous areas like Mount Rainier. And it's here where search and rescue teams flying in Chinook helicopters come to train.
5, 4, 3, 2, half gear.
Operating at more than 10,000 to 14,000 feet up, rescuers are helping to get an injured hiker off the mountain.
It requires a great attention to detail on the aircraft and the power required to fly at that altitude. Mountain meteorology is difficult to predict, and it's important that we look for the cues of shifting weather patterns while we're on the mountain. The weather changes very rapidly on Mount Rainier, so our pilots are trained in analyzing and predicting weather changes and paying attention to the helicopter and the power required to accomplish the mission up there.
Medical professionals, Air Force parajumpers, and Army reservists work hand in hand, roping to the ground, establishing a base, stabilizing the patient, and getting them off the mountain as quickly as possible.
We try and compartmentalize nervousness and not have it so that that's something we're thinking about. Your attention is so focused on flying the aircraft and maintaining the aircraft in a profile that sometimes afterwards you might think about it.
An average of 10,000 to 12,000 climbers attempt to summit Mount Rainier in a season. Nearly half that number won't make it to the top, and a few might be seriously injured or worse. That's why their mission is so important. They're saving lives.
It's an inherently dangerous mission, and we take it very seriously and try and mitigate those risks. But personally, to me, to allow somebody to go home that wouldn't have been there otherwise is very rewarding.
Besides the rewards of saving a life, it's also vital training when they're deployed to Afghanistan, another country filled with rugged terrain.
Pilots operating in the mountains of Pakistan and Afghanistan, myself included, and it pays huge dividends to allow a pilot to see that environment before he's in it for real.
On Mount Rainier, Jeff Van Sant, Q13, Fox News.